on the screaming and the hatred. Go easy on the alcohol and drugs, things that screw up your aura. People think about the aura, and when it comes to creating a sacred space, Michael, I don't know, I got this relationship and it was completely crazy, messed up, but I practice every day, surrounding myself with light. No mean partners can enter this space again because I'm surrounded with light. Well, listen, the way this works, truly, the aura does not actually wrap around you. You don't take an aura and actually, like a shell, clamp it in place, like an old suitcase shell. I'm going to be safe now. I have a suitcase of light. Clip, clip, clip. Because you're still there. If you had problems when you surrounded yourself with white light, you have beautifully surrounded toxicity with white light. But you're still there and you're still toxic. And you cannot deny the law that the boomerang effect, it mirrors back. This world mirrors back. How could that happen if I surrounded myself with white light? If I were you, I wouldn't surround yourself with white light. What I would do is take the spark of God in here, fan it into a flame, let it grow and grow, love, forgiveness, practices of peace and patience, shine that light, and healthy boundaries. It's not like you say, oh, I'm becoming a person of high vibration, love, peace, joy, and people can abuse me because I'm just so filled with light, I don't say no. No, boundaries. Oh, it's so wonderful. This light says, oh my God, you're not only fanning this flame into a bright light, you're also taking care that the wind doesn't blow it out. Nice job. Boundaries. To be able to say no to unhealthy people, practices, and situations. But if inside I'm an addict of some kind and my addiction is calling to me, but I'm not going to give into it. I'm going to surround myself with white light. I do not have an addiction. I do not have an addiction. And you're chewing your nails and you're just totally anxious. That's not how you deal with the addiction. That's why 12 steps include a relationship with God. Instead of I'm going to make myself not an addict, not be an addict, what I'm going to do is, where's that coming from? And I learn in the steps, for example, to purify, to clear those things so they're not toxic inside of my white light shell. So instead, I'm becoming closer to God and also peeling away my wounds, my ego, and my compulsions, my addictions. So I'm cleaning house and fanning that flame to a brighter light. Cleaning the house, fanning the flame more. It's like house cleaning. So I'm cleaning up my place. I'm cleaning up myself, looking responsibly at my stuff and bidding it farewell. Also, my light work, not just, human wound work, but also toning and singing and praising and giving thanks and praying and meditating. All that I'm doing in here is becoming a frequency in my household, my external household. You see, that's why people can go to a temple and sometimes feel palpable vibrations. They go to some Buddhist temple or they go to some temple somewhere and they say, oh my God, the sacred site. As soon as I walked in, I could feel, you know what you're feeling? The praises and prayers of centuries of God, of love, of people going to a sacred site to experience God. Now, we're told in A Course in Miracles, because Christ consciousness nips everything and, just takes everything right, raises all the stuff to the ground and puts it right in perspective. So we're hearing about Buddhist temples and Hindu temples and so on. We go and great vibes. And it is good to do that. It is nice to do that. But the Course takes it down to, and there's no place that's holier or more sacred than in you. Particularly when you have forgiven an old grievance. When you've uprooted something. See, if you take that to the temples, all you're doing is going, I can feel the wonderful vibes of the temple, but I still don't like my ex. How did that help? In a way, and I'm not meaning to be irreverent, in a way, it's more powerful and potent, more important, more real, more effective for me to go into my house, sit down, and become aware of people I still judge, resent, whatever, fear, whatever it is, and uproot that and replace it with the Holy Spirit's presence than it is for me to take my issues to a temple and enjoy their vibes. You see? Fantastic that I do that. But are you doing any inner work? So what if you could do both? What if you could go to a fabulous sacred site and say, even before you walk in the door, I will not bring this into the sacred place? Do you know what you have to do that? You have to acknowledge there's a sacred place you're about to walk into. That in itself is huge, right? But people can generally manage. Well, I accept that this is a Jewish temple, Hindu temple, and it's a sacred place. It's honored by many centuries of prayer. And wow. But Jesus explains to us, don't go into those sacred spaces with a grievance. Go out, clear it, and come back. Well, that's interesting. I thought I was going to the sacred site to have my grievances worked on. It's not that you can't do that. Healing temples, you could bring it, pour your tears, of course. But what he's saying is, the fact that you acknowledge a sacred space, picture this. What if we're talking about you are the sacred space? You're the temple. You're the Solomon's temple. You're all the greatest temples ever created. What if that's true? And I assure you it is. Then you go into yourself. Where is that Buddhist temple you're about to go to? Where is that Hindu temple? Where's that Muslim temple? Where's the temple that people call so sacred? They don't even wear shoes when they enter. Or if it's some traditions, if the women go into some of these sacred sites, they have to make sure their sleeves, their arms are covered and their legs down to their ankles. You probably know what religion and tradition that might be, but that's where they're at. So picture this. If you acknowledge that there's a sacred temple somewhere, you're acknowledging that there's something in you that is pure and sacred. And if that's true, where is it? My right baby toe? No. Right here in the upper three centers, the inner sanctum, the Holy of Holies. So the holiness is here, and it is now, I can see it's now okay for me to say, I don't want to bring my garbage to here. You see what I mean by that? Metaphorically. It's okay to go into a church and cry, and I'm not saying that, but I'm saying we're asked to go to another level of this understanding. What if I give to Caesar what Caesar's? Before I go in the temple, what if I take a rock from the ground and I squeeze that rock and say, oh, with every exhale for a dozen exhales of all the times that I've been taken advantage of, all the times ruined and hurt and treated selfishly from other people, to the rock. Now, what do you do with the rock? Because you know it has all that toxicity. But it doesn't, because the rock is part of the mother. And she's like, squeeze the rock. It'll be fine. It's part of me. I don't get toxicity because you're angry. You can try. But no, I'm good. So she knows how to bless the rock. It'll hit the ground and she'll just and soak it in and bless it and disperse it. Give it up. Let it go. Put your hands on the ground. Rage. Oh, I don't want to hurt the divine mother Gaia. Stop. Let it out somewhere. Do a pillow. Then somebody's going to sleep on that pillow and have nightmares. Just how long do you want to think about this and analyze this? Just let it out. Grab a tree. Oh, I like trees. Stop. Grab a light post. Okay, so that you're not hurting the redwoods. Go grab you picture this in Sedona. My mother. They're going to be like, straitjacket, off to the hospital. But get it out, because what you do, every tear, every drainage from the nose, every sigh and every cry and every word, it's taking a holy child of God that's filled with toxicity, pouring it out and leaving an empty space that can now be filled with God. It's a cathartic experience. Some people think it's just cathartic to do the release, which it is. But if you do the release and not fill with God, with an intention to fill with God, you automatically will draw back the things you spit out of your being back into your being, because it's familiar and it's your energy. This energy goes out to the universe, looks around and goes, none of this is familiar. Let's go back home. And like unhealthy kids, they move back in. Next thing you know, you've got this toxic stuff. I thought I cried this out. Michael, I've talked about my mother 20 times already. And people like that will say, so why is it still here? Because more often than not, we've released it and never replaced it. You need to move in new tenants. Get out the cockroaches and whatever else and move in new tenants. This is a new space. Tell people, let people know by your frequency and sometimes your words. Not today, man. We want to engage in arguing. Oh yeah, I remember that. Wasn't that silly? I'm not interested. Now, if I'm still an addict inside, and on the outside I wrap myself with white light, and on my white light I hang a sign that says no longer an addict, but inside I'm still chewing my nails, I'm not healed. What I'm really heading for is I need to get it in here. Well, how do you do that? There's no answer. Because if you don't want to get it, you're not going to get it. They call it reaching bottom, but I'm going to say no. It's not just reaching bottom. It's also when you desire the top. I don't just want to learn from reaching bottom. I also want to taste healthiness. And so I'm committed to healthiness. Have you ever fasted, let's say even a day? Did you notice it's a little challenging to think I've purified my body for a day, 3 days, 7 days, whatever it is, and then go for a burger? It just kind of feels weird. Now, some of you might be, no, the burger was kind. I liked it. That's fine. But a lot of us kind of, don't you? Don't you go, it feels weird. Why? Because metaphorically, you've cleared a space and you know it doesn't feel congruent to bring that thing in. Anybody on a cellular level would tell you, dietarily, you clean it out. The first thing I want to do, when I've cleaned my digestive system and eliminatory system, the first thing I want to do is put uncooked meat, right in there. It's really congruent. Your cells inside are going, oh, we can breathe, and then a burger. It just kind of feels weird, and I'm not putting down burgers. What I'm saying is there's a strange, obvious ability in us to know what's congruent. So why don't we do the same thing? Fast from screaming. And then when screaming comes, you go, this doesn't resonate. Some of us have, when we moved away from home and even visited, it's like day and night. If you fast from a situation long enough, you know what doesn't work for you anymore, don't you? The more you integrate the experience and become the new you, the more it'll feel incongruent. I have to share a caveat to that. The biggest challenge when you really clear and I'm not bothering with anger. I'm not going to wrestle with you and anymore. I'm not interested in your put downs and demeaning behaviors. I'm not interested in you interrupting me all the time or whatever it happens to be. I put all that out there. The biggest challenge is you become so clear that almost nothing in this world makes any sense anymore. And now you're like just sitting on your couch. You mean watching TV? No, because it doesn't work anymore. Or reading a book? There's not many that kind of do it for me. You see what I'm saying? It's like, that is a challenge. It's a funny one, but sometimes a lonely one. And this too shall pass. Because after you go through that thing of fasting, which is, first indulging in negatives, the opposite extreme, fasting, what happens is you start to integrate what happened in the fast, and now in the middle, you come to the middle. Some people will try to swing right back to unhealthy behaviors again. I got divorced and I found someone just like them. Woohoo! Or I used to eat toxicity, now I fasted and I walk and I speak more light and soft and whatever, and then, oh look, Burger King, and then I got to go have a burger. So you'll swing right back to the stuff again. But what you can do is, I was asleep, I was harming myself, I wasn't awake, wasn't aware, swung over here, really aware. I fasted, I cleared, and I became vividly aware of my new vibration. And instead of swinging back or staying there, because that's the, I don't know what to do now. I'm just hanging out in this frequency. Great, I can see angels, but I forgot to pay my bills, so they shut my electricity off. There's something waiting right here. And this is where you've learned from this, but you've integrated this, and now in the middle. And now I can have a little, I just never go into an overindulgence. I can have a little food, but I don't judge it. When I say a little food, even the stuff that I might think isn't the best. I just have a minimal amount and it doesn't matter. I'm okay with it. I forgive myself. And over here, I still can come back to this high frequency. That person right there, man, that's mastery. That's a person who's really got it together. I'm not impressed by people indulging in every kind of addiction, but I'm also not impressed with those who are at the opposite extreme, judging everybody that's over here caught up in addiction. There's right here in the middle, there's an interesting thing. This person is kind of clenching their teeth because they're just living in angst. And this person is overly like, it's like they're on helium, just floating. What I like is this person, because they're neither, and they're not, what they're doing is just, there's like contentment. It's like, I got it. And they can talk to these people without being so extreme. They can, oh yeah, cool, good for you. You having a burger? Great. They don't go, you know what that does to your energy level? You need some dietary feng shui. You don't go there, and you don't worry. I love people that are kind of spaced out and kind of hyper spiritual. I think it's beautiful because they've gotten away from this and they found something very beautiful and vibrational. I love that. Whether it's music or whatever else they do that expresses that high frequency, I love it. I understand this one, I love this one, but I choose this one. And all of us would do so much better in life to recognize this is where I want to go. But you're not going to get here just going from extreme to here. You got to do some extra work, some extra prayer meditation, some extra step work. You've got to clear out the old stuff. So healing is a part of the spiritual journey. You don't just go from complete toxicity to centeredness. It's important to let yourself go through the steps of inner child work, family of origin work, past life stuff, or whatever you do that involves healing. I'm not saying obsess on it. I'm just saying do what seems about right for you to work on. From this, I integrate, and then I come to my center. Things like depression that you asked about, they will affect us because depression is a hangover of living like this, where I'm well aware that I'm ruining myself, or over here where I'm hyper spiritual, so much so that now I see what I did, but I judge myself for it. Here, I don't do that. Do you see what I mean by that? When I go way over here, I'm so glad I'm not like them and that anymore. Wow, I'm so spiritual now. You're going to have a hangover called depression because either you're doing this or you're doing this, these two extremes. In the center, it doesn't happen. The depression, the hangover doesn't come because the hangover of depression is I had to have judged myself or someone else first. And the depression is the hangover of it. So I'm seeking to clear all of this and make room, give thanks, fill with the Holy Spirit, and then you just feel alive. There's a tricky thing about the concept of depression because it's not only a hangover, but one of the top three, if not number one, top three cures for depression. And I'm not minimizing how it feels to be depressed. Sometimes it's to the point of suicidal ideation. But one of the primary cures, and it's completely underestimated and not talked about, is being of service. When you have depression, but you go and volunteer at an animal shelter and see that you change the life of an animal, it's hard to go home and go, I helped that animal feel loved for the first time after 10 years of it being abused. And that really bums me out that I helped that animal. It doesn't equate, you see. Something in you, when you feel a sense of purpose, and you asked about purpose, when you feel a sense of purpose, it triggers an aliveness. It activates the flame like the pilot light on a stove. Pop, and all of a sudden the fire is on. But the purpose doesn't mean something always grandiose. Oh, I discovered my purpose. I'm supposed to teach and write a book that's going to sell all around the world, and even star beings are going to come and listen to my talks out on the Red Rocks in Sedona. That could happen, but yeah, you knew where that was going. But right now, what's in front of you? Well, I'm thinking about it. No, what's in front of you? There's somebody that's having a hard time getting across the crosswalk. Pull your damn car over and help them. Well, yeah, but I got to get onto my book writing. I'm telling you, I don't want to read your book. If you can't help that person across the street, I'm not interested in what you have to say. You see what I mean by that? I'm just being kind of blunt about it. Show me. Show me the love. Show me what it looks like. The things in your book, how it looks on an outside level. Some people write these books and they sold millions of copies. Now, and this is their thing. That's fine for them. But they sell millions of copies. But did you know that many of them, if you ever want to meet them, you have to pay hundreds or thousands to walk up and shake their hand, to have audience. You see? It's kind of weird. Michael, can I have audience with you? Well, do I sing a song and you're my audience? What do you mean by hold audience with me? To be in your presence. You're standing here, aren't you? I mean, let's just, come on, man. Just simple. You know, and I've been places overseas and other places where I've taught in temples, and I'm not kidding, not exaggerating, where when I was preparing, certain people, because of their custom, came up and put flowers all around at my feet. It's a sacredness. They're honoring. So thank you for your respect to me as a teacher. Now, I finished my talk. If anybody would like a flower, come up and take one home. Give it, share it, do something other than being worshiped. And the same goes for everything in our lives, partnerships, parenting, to just all this sacredness, the sacred space. Kids, keep it quiet. Mom's trying to create sacred space. You just kind of screwed up the sacred space. And if you have really amazing kids, they're going to tell you, Mom, isn't yelling at us also ruining the sacred space? You know, next lifetime, no kids. That's not going to protect you. At the end of the day, what's really happening inside of me? The kids are making noise when I'm trying to meditate. I can never, Michael, I can't meditate. I want to, but I can't because I have young ones and they make noise. What can I tell you? Do you ever shower without them standing there making noise? Well, I hadn't thought of that. I know you haven't. And when they're asleep and they go to bed and I'm just too tired to meditate. All you have to do as you're falling into sleep is breathe in just a few breaths. With each inhale, the love and peace and presence of God is with me, and exhale, and so it is. The peace and presence of God is with me. Inhale, and so it is on the exhale. You make this happen. You take control of your life and you create sacred space, even if it's as you're going to sleep. Just bring it. Make it happen wherever you are. And I know there are some scenarios that are more challenging than others to do it in that moment. In the middle of two people wrestling on the ground, having an altercation, what do you do? Well, you might not be able to go, oh, money, and bless them. And, you might have to restrain them, because stopping hate is an act of sacred space. You might not see the gift of the sacred space yet. Not yet. But take the action, and later on, I helped two people that were fighting, and I brought it to an end. See, that's still service. Learning to acknowledge and see when we're doing these things, giving thanks. Today, at the end of the day, I can see where I could have worked on that a little better. I learned from it, and so it is. I got it. Then the things that did go well, yummy, yummy. Soak those in. Wow, that was amazing. Wow, that was great. Soak them in. Because if you're faithful to the good things that are happening and you start with today, more will be given. When you go, yeah, but that was an okay event today, but I don't know. It might not go well tomorrow. You're already living in hell. You're already destroying the potential right there. That's right there of the presence of God. And I love that crowning of Christ consciousness idea. Putting on the mind of Christ, because it's not literally a crown. When we see Jesus in more glorified imagery in heaven, wearing a crown, I promise you, Jesus is not wearing a crown. Oh, that's sacrilegious. I don't care. He's not wearing a crown, nor Adidas, nor a particular style of clothing, finest suits, nor the original single robe. He's not wearing anything because he's not in a body. But the imagery, you could see him and it looks like he's wearing a crown. You could be a blessed artist and that's what comes through. You could be a musician and you're channeling a song called The Crown of Christ. It's all beautiful, but they're symbols. He's not actually wearing a crown. To wear the crown of Christ means to put on the consciousness of Christ. The crown doesn't matter if you're a jerk. It just doesn't matter. Creating sacred space out here, if in here you hate everybody, it doesn't help. Putting on the mind of Christ is the saying. It's a crown as a symbol, but put on the mind of Christ. And again, one of the most beautiful things about it is you don't have to fix yourself. What you do instead is you say, this is funny, Holy Spirit, Divine Mother, I know you see this, but I'm owning, I've got all these funny trips about me. I know to be loving, but boy, today I really got triggered. And I know that last week I was like in a workshop about bliss and forgiveness, and we were like, ex-husbands, love you. But today I was like, I had different hand gestures than this one towards my ex. Own it and say, but I know. The truth is that person and I and all beings created by God are holy. I know that back here. See? Just let the foot in the door. Divine Mother, I'm going to tell you, I'm really struggling. I'm going to tell you 10 things I don't like about that person. And I just got to let you know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Just getting it out. But I know that you're my reminder that none of that is the truth of the person. Help me to see the truth of them come from back here through my eyes. Show me how to see them differently. Because I've got opinions, a bunch of them, wearing right out here. I've got Post-its clipped to my glasses, and it's telling me all the things I should distrust and dislike about them so that I never get hurt again. Don't trust them, right? But you actually have a different way of doing this, and I believe in your way. I'm hurting. See, admit it. Part of me doesn't want to go there, God, but the real part of me does. So show me how. And when I started, I brought up a client this week, and I'll go back to that as we're going to start closing. The idea, some of you asked about, like falling in love. Marriage. Remember that partnership is almost always coming from a needy place because we're on earth, which is a place of duality, which includes I feel empty and I'm looking for something to fill me. But you're not really empty. So Buddha is saying the ultimate problem symptomatically in our lives is we think we're flawed. We think we're empty. Now we go looking for something to fix it and we can't find it, and that is the cause of suffering in Buddhist concepts. But what's the solution? I just need to find the right thing to fill me. That's the problem. I thought cocaine was going to do it, and it worked for about a year. I felt high and perfect and whole, and then I crashed. Okay, then I met somebody at the Cocaine Anonymous class. I met somebody, and they filled me for about 3 months, and then I'm like, I don't like them. They're such an addict. Then I dumped them, and I found something else, and you're never happy, and it's all them. At some point, all the sponsors are supposed to be saying, and what about you? And what about you? And then eventually you're going to crash and say, I hate sponsors and I hate 12-step programs, because now you're mad at them. But at some point, oh my God, all of those messed up people and things are there, and yet I'm the common denominator. I need to sit with this for a minute, and here you go, to the mother. Wow. With tears, snot, vomit, whatever you need to do to puke this out of your life, just say it, puke it out, say it, vent it, scream it, cry it. Create an empty vessel to where you can say, my part is to own my part. My part is not to fix me. My part is not to select which guides are going to come to me and bless me, which angels. My part is empty myself because I'm the one who filled myself with falseness. Empty and stand at the altar and say, whatever. You decide. Angels, deceased relatives that are trying to be guides, what you decide, God, what is to be. See, when I'm up here, you guys have never heard me in all of my years credit a particular being, have you? You've never heard me say, well, hold on a second, Kutumi has something to tell me. Oh, sure. Okay. I never name them. I don't tell you, but you guys have told me there was this being, this glorious master, angels, Mother Mary. You guys have named many things you've seen, and I don't respond to that. because I leave it all to the mother. I leave it all to the Holy Spirit, and it seems to work well. What do I need to say today? What do I need to, let's just all share this. God, self, and others, and let's decide on as deep a level as possible what we need to share today. So this person said, I'd like to create a life mate. And I said, look at your life and ask yourself, where were you, say, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, on a 0 to 10 scale? And if you say 7, you're wrong, okay? You're wrong. Where are you today compared to 5 years ago, 3 years ago, 10 years? Where are you? Where were you then? Give me a number. And the person could say, really at my worst, and they name all kinds of things they used to do and engage in, probably a 2. I thought I was probably a 6 if you'd have asked me then, but it's probably a 2. Okay, cool. Now, what if you would have been halfway to where you are today and said, Michael, I want you to show me how to manifest my life mate. Because here's what happens. When you're ready, you're going to push a button of creativity inside and you're going to manifest a person. The problem is they're going to be vibrationally compatible to you. The 2, the 4. I'm no longer a 4. What are you, a 6? And it's good. Congratulations if you went from a 2 to a 6. My God, you've tripled your progress. I think it's fantastic. I'm only asking you, is 6 enough to say, and I want to manifest a 6 today? See, you're like, no. Right. Now, if I was a 2, a 6 would be amazing. But I want to manifest a 6 because that's what you are today. All I'm asking you to do is recognize, is the partnership you have able to meet you at that level that you feel you're at, like a good number, a 6, whatever, and capable of going further? If you're like, it took everything for me to reach a 6, and they just announced, they woke up that morning and said, you know, honey, I woke up with a dream saying I need to become a 2 again. You might be over. Or are they saying, I'm ready to go the next level with you? And that's a really cool thing. Because if you're going to have a partnership, you go into the ark of peace 2 by 2. You go into the ark of salvation, not just Noah's ark, the ark of salvation 2 by 2. You and anyone else that's willing to join you in love, in healing. Doesn't mean it has to be marriage, but in a commitment. And there's no greater example on planet Earth than to have partnership commitment. Doesn't have to be a certificate. Partnership commitment means, hey, I'm kind of insane and I want to work on myself and I'm looking for somebody else who's willing to say the same thing. And they go, oh no, I'm above, I'm perfect. Bye, and be done with that one. Or they might say, no, I kind of like groveling in garbage. Not for me. Find someone who resonates the same and has a commitment to going higher. That's a good relationship. That's a healthy thing. You're not claiming perfection. No, I kind of lose my temper. I kind of sometimes do this and that, but I'm working on it. Is that okay? See, if you just go and only show them your, profile, dating website profile, everybody, what do you think people are going to do? A challenged individual looking for a partner. No, they're like, they have the airbrushed, photos. One of those. It's also contrived. Oh my God. Anyway. And lastly, partnership should be just like joining a band, music band. It's the same. Any kind of partnership, any kind of extension of yourself should be, I feel so much love in this relationship, I think it's time to go to another level. If we get along so well in our communication, maybe we should also date. If dating goes so well, we do something more. If that goes so well, you grow a relationship. But it's the same with business partnership. Don't just meet somebody and go, oh, look, our stars are aligned. Let's start a business. Figure it out, grow it. And same with having children. Don't accidentally have a child. Although if it happens, embrace it. But imagine this instead. Having a child when the two of you are so in love that the child becomes an extension of the love. And that almost has never happened on planet Earth. Almost never. But it has happened. I'm not saying it's 1 in a trillion. I'm saying it's 1 in hundreds. It's 1 in thousands or something to that effect. The child should be, I can't even imagine not extending, or this love here is so palpable, so present. Wow. See, an artist writes a song because they feel it. If they sit down and labor the song, it's not the same, is it? But when they're like, I feel so high, so alive, that could be a song that's ready to come forward, different than laboring it. You let it happen. And the child can be an extension of that. And anything else you do. Don't get a dog just to save it, rescue it. Don't get a dog because your friend's got a dog. Don't get a dog so you can meet people at the dog park. Don't get a dog unless it is, I feel so full. I'm ready to extend that love to something else. That could be a rescue, but I'm not running on the rescue vibe. Instead, I'm running on my fullness. All your relationships try to come from fullness rather than emptiness. Any amount of emptiness is going to come back and bite you in the butt. And that goes for everything, every kind of relationship, every kind. Fullness. Does it mean what I'm a 6? That's not fullness, but are you aware that you're a 6 and you're working on fullness? You can still afford another 6. Could I say that I'm ready to handle relationship if I'm a 4? I don't think I'm safe yet. I don't think I'm full enough. Does that make sense? See, if you're already a person who's suffering from malnutrition, it might not be a good time to fast, right? Well, if you are romantically malnourished, it might not be the right time to get in a relationship where they're relying on you feeding them some kind of love, peace, happiness, joy, sex, whatever. Get to a fuller place where it's like, I can't imagine not sharing what I feel right now. Get to at least a 7 on the 10 scale, at least a 7 before you go, yeah, I think this will work out. I could never picture myself going, I'm feeling pretty 50-50 today. Let me manifest a relationship. It doesn't make sense to me, but that's just me. Please take a few centering breaths. Breathing into your life, breathing into your day-to-day experiences. Just breathe and observe your relations, your interactions. Just observe for a moment. Try to use your imagination. Use your imagination and say to yourself, if I have any dysfunctional things in my life, whether it's addiction, people, arguments, any at all, what parts of me are still kind of low vibration? What parts of me are still possibly pushing the button to draw this to me? Could be a vibe of low self-worth, undeservability, inner conflict, anger, hurt. Just sit with that for a moment. Be patient. Don't look with judgment. Look like a mom or dad at a child of yours that you love. So look patiently at, wow, that's what's helping to draw this into my life. But I was mistaken. This is not the real me. I'm giving the people, the circumstances, the situations, the patterns, the karma, all of it to you, Divine Mother. Come into my heart and lift these things up and out of me, leaving in my heart space for something new. What is the new? Like a mantra, 2 words, love and self-worth, peace and happiness. Please pick your 2 words, hear them with every inhalation and every exhale, the words "and so it is," and do that about a dozen times. now, no more mantra, no more words. Imagine that you're actually feeling the frequency. You are what you just called in. You're not calling it in anymore. You have that vibe in you. So imagine this, floating like half asleep, and you're floating in the words you just called in. I am the peace and joy of God. And float. Give that a moment. And begin soaking in the feeling of gratitude. This is real. What I just surrendered was in fact surrendered to a whole new level today. What I just welcomed in is in fact soaking into my being. A hand or two on your heart. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Divine Mother. Thank you for washing me cleaner. Thank you for blessing me, bestowing upon me, baptizing me with the new. Thank you. This is what you've always intended for me. So silly that I got in the way. This is my choice and only choice now. To think, see, feel as God. And so it is. Stretch out, please. Reintegrate into your body. In a moment, we'll do our closing prayer. Please remember, anytime you pray, meditate in this place or in your own place at home, try to remind yourself, don't end it with, wow, that was a good meditation that I'll leave there and go home now. Take it with you. I know they say you can't take it with you. Yes, you can. Take it with you. Take the peace, the prayer, the meditation, the friendship, the smiles, the sparkle in someone's eyes. Take it with you. I don't, somehow I've always known that and felt that. There are people I can remember from 40 years ago holding that space of beauty, and I didn't walk away and leave it behind. But instead, I still remember them and give thanks to them for being the one that smiled that day when I didn't feel smiles in my life. For being the one that offered hope, right? For being just a courteous person. One quick example that just popped into my mind. One day, there was a gal who came by the center. It does happen in centers all over the planet, but it does happen here and it does happen in Sedona. It seems magnified. But a person that was kind of unstable and suffering a lot stopped by, and they only had like a quick session because I was leaving for out of town or whatever. And I went on tour and I came back, and they took their life. And the police left me a note and said, this person left something for you here. And I don't even know the person. I just knew from talking that she had a daughter, little one, and a partner in another state. And they were told about it too. But interesting, when I went into the police office, the department's office, I walked in and I said I was told to come in, and she just left me a note that said, thank you for doing all that you did to hold space and talk to me. And there was nothing that was going to change my mind. But they acknowledged the love was there. Okay, that was good. That's not the miracle for me. The miracle for me was I was looking at it in the at the desk at the police department. And I just kind of, was feeling for her and feeling for her daughter, and took a breath, and a woman, detective, police officer, walked by and said, I'm really sorry. And I never forgot that. I don't even know this person. Do you understand? but that they still took a moment to say, I'm really sorry. An act of compassion, of kindness. You follow? Now, wherever that officer is, wherever they are, they're going to have extra protection around them because of my love for them being there so purely for me. You follow? And for this person that took their life. Wherever they are, if they passed on, they're going to have extra feathers in their wings to lift them to higher realms because of their kindness. Stopping to be kind in whatever way is magnificent and broad and glorious, but also 3D right here and now. Anything we do, every bit of kindness becomes a feather that takes us higher. We don't get higher by just the assumptions that we're going to get higher because of our own doings. This is all about love. We're lifted in our love and service to others, believe it or not. Not talking about ignore your own needs. I'm talking about you have no idea how often your needs are met karmically and in every other way when you have been good to others. When you're good to others as a rescuer at the sacrifice of yourself, you're still broken and unhealthy. But when you do it properly and you're keeping sight of your own center, it's an amazing ecosystem that you're creating. What did you hear or learn today that made the most sense or helped you feel might help you the most? Everything. Great. That's a good one. Anyone else? Every bit of release, you leave room, man. Allow God to fill that space. And some people are like, oh, well, I don't know how to do big release. Stop. Just do this. Just a breath made more room. One tiny tear left room. Every bit of something out, it's making room for something new. And if all you can muster up is a centering breath, let alone cathartic work like, doing anger release, and makes a lot of room. And for the only thing that matters, the love of God. Yes?
We are the sacred space.
Thank you. I'm glad somebody, I think there was that topic. We are the sacred space. We are the sacred space. Be that thing. I mean, I would love if I had a healing room myself, and I was 20 years ago doing healing, let's say, and I would love, man, the waterfall and the certain colors. I would totally sparkle that room up into making it like heaven on earth. I would. But I would also make sure I have this, right? Love and kindness for the clients that come in, not just pretty walls. But interestingly enough, all my years on tour, I wasn't able to do this outer thing. And I think it was important. I think it's a lesson God was teaching me. If you can't bring the sacred space, it's not helping. So I had to everywhere, in airports, amusement parks, believe it or not, all park benches, everywhere I was, I knew if I don't pull the sacred space in right here, it's going to inhibit how much we can do out here with the person. See, intention. But I had a sincerity. You can't just say the words. I really wanted to be helpful to the people I engaged with and worked with. I really wanted to be helpful, and that already starts to set a frequency. So thank you, guys. We're going to take up our collection and close with a prayer. Please be as generous as you can be. Your donations go in the bags, but any extra love offerings, and there's a button online you can push to do donations, but the baskets are for any extra donations. Things of like helping us to help people of lesser means or any special projects we're working on. Okay? So thank you. Hold the love offering or the intention of love and support in your heart. Hold that space here. The prayer is on the brochures in front of you or posted online, the prosperity blessing. Together, please. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. Nice, thank you. And one extension of gratitude, let's share a round of applause of gratitude for Jaya Lakshmi, please. She's got a table in the foyer there. You guys can go on her website to learn more about, and they'll probably post it in the thread here, but you can go on her website to learn more and or download music and purchase music and all that. But she's got some materials here that would be worthwhile for you guys to show your gratitude. And you don't have to buy a CD to say thank you. Consider a little extra donation, and it all adds up, and we appreciate you extending that to her. All right? Okay. While they're passing the bags for another minute or so, I just want to share with you today, even though I'm not, we don't have the table out there with my DVDs. If you're still interested in buying some of the DVD sets that we're closing out from the bookstore, they do still have some in there. You can still get a full set of all 24 of them, or 1 or 5 at a time. It's your call, but I'm just saying they're there, and they'll be there for a little while longer, but we're not putting the table out anymore. Remember that the Egyptian statues are available there for auction. You just go in the foyer and let them know if you want to bid on those. And today's the last day for the early bird discount for the Daughters of Heaven. You save a little, but the fee for the online or in-person attendance isn't that high anyway. So it's months away, but it's worth buying the ticket now. We've already sold almost half of the tickets out, and it's only been on for sale for a few weeks. So please, if you don't know more about it, grab the book, a copy of the book in the bookstore, Daughters of Heaven. There's also a website for the Daughters of Heaven. Down the road, we'll probably talk about that more, but it's an extraordinary thing to be aware. I'm not just a light worker. I'm the cream floating to the top of this milk light workers concept. The cream at the top is the Daughters of Heaven. That's people that are not just dedicated to shining the light and helping people go home like light workers do, of course, all of us. But the Daughters of Heaven are also about anchoring the presence right here. And that's just a different level of commitment to love, to God, and so on. So if you feel that, usually people, some it's just spontaneous. They go, wow, I like the idea. But some people feel already something innate, something inside, a natural love for Christ or for Jesus, for Mother Mary, for God. They feel something, about the Essenes, Lemuria, some of these cultures, some of these groups along history, where they just know they were doing some really high-level love to the world. That's usually somebody that's got a history of being a daughter of heaven. And we want to thank you folks online. Because I don't know the online stuff much, but I guess you can click, you like this, or you support it, or whatever. Click something other than hate. So, it just helps to generate more interest and helps people know where you're at, that you dig what you're experiencing here. We have a healing room here, this round room out in the lot. It's a yurt, and inside is the crystal bed. That's available for anybody that would like to experience healing. Bless you. Remember that if ever you're coming into town, moving or visiting, call the office and let them help you find anything from healers, realtors, good food places. I mean, I really believe in networking. We have a car that someone's selling, but I like networking, so we're telling folks about this car. It's a really cool car, and anytime somebody has a car for sale or a house for sale, we try to network, because some of us need to know where those things are, especially getting an affordable car. I'll come back to that in just a sec. The Enchanted Healing Room is open. It's only a block away, and in there you have a half dozen different healers with different modalities. You can learn about that. If you're coming to visit, book some sessions there, but there's flyers in the foyer that'll tell you more about it. And bless you, yes. Today is the first Sunday of the month. Therefore, today is the day we do our spiritual mythology class. That's once a month, and we cover different, mythology from throughout the world, because mythology is the right brain version of history. So it's more complete, more thorough, more accurate, more authentic. So we have a really deep class on that goes on. And this Wednesday, we have our class, sort of a mentoring class. It's a support group. It's every other Wednesday, but it's here. We just put out a circle. If you want to sit, share, learn, It's kind of a support group, but at the same time, you're learning for yourself or others some healing techniques that can kind of release the old and bring in the new vibration. So that's also got flyers there if you want that, if you want to learn more about it. All right, and so I don't know if they've got the image to put online for you, but there's a 2004 Acura MDX Touring, and it's an all-wheel drive. Anyway, it's an SUV. It's got the nav system, really, really cool. And I want to add this. It was owned by Chris Sveris. And if you don't know Chris, he's one of the most popular New Age musicians in history. Yeah, Chris Sveris, he's like Aeolia, and there's a few that were just well-known, you know, Kitaro and your Enyas and all that. Chris has been around a long time. I think probably since the 80s doing New Age music. Ah, there's the vehicle. So if you're interested, you can put a bid. I think they're starting at, believe it or not, like $4,500. It's a cool car. And the only thing he said that was a problem with it was the stereo, and there's a brand new one sitting in the trunk to be installed. So he's already supplied that to go with it. And the license plate, I mean, I couldn't resist. The license plate is something like All One Love. You know, I think that's just so cool. So if you're interested, that's parked outside. We can go from there. Yes, dear? Yeah, it's there. You can take it on a test drive to Mexico for some dental work or, you know, whatever you need to do. Please stand for our closing prayer. Ah. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Breathe it in. Gratitude. Imagine everybody in the room already being gifted good karma because we're so grateful for all that we've brought together today. Blessings of light and abundance surrounding Jaya Lakshmi. Love and abundance to you for all that you are and all that you do. Our staff, our volunteers, our chaplains, everyone absolutely blessed with the love of God in whatever form would best support them. Financial healing, whatever it is. All of us basking in that light. And we can easily, confidently affirm that the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we go, God is, I am, we are, and so it is. God bless you all, and thank you so much for being with us. Be sure to stop by and give gratitude to Jaya Lakshmi. Thank you.